I had my aunt in the 1940s and 1950s. When she would go to Ntungamo, to the trading center, she would come back holding her nose. That the vehicles have Okunyampa. Okunyampa is when the gas coming out of the southern part of the body. I don't know what they call it in Uganda, but in Nyankole it means. So my aunt, she was older than me. She was a teenager. The gas of the cars have upset my stomach that she cannot eat because she has smelled the. And we thought it was, the problem of fuel, the problem of petroleum. They use words which you may not know in our ordinary language. The problem of petroleum initially started with really it's an old story. I could say it starts with imperialism. The foreigners who from 1500 started coming from Europe and taking over the whole world. When the imperialists started moving towards Africa, following 1453. 1453 is when Constantinople, what is now called Istanbul, was taken over by the Turks. The Muslims came from the east and they captured that city of Constantinople. In what in the Bible, in the book of the Acts of the Apostles, is what they call Asia Minor. Asia Minor, during that time of Jesus, people who were living there were, I think, Greeks or people like that. That's why you hear places in the Bible, Galatia, Ephesus, those are all biblical names, mainly occupied by Greeks. Corinth is still there. That one is in Greek. Thessalonica. Now, part of that land was taken over by Muslims in 1453. And when the Muslims took over, they blocked the West Europeans from getting products from the East, from China and India, especially spices. Spices were very crucial for preservation of food during winter. So the Europeans now started looking for another way to go to the East. That's how they started, the Portuguese started trying to go around Africa. 1472, they got near Sierra Leone. 1482, they got to where Angola is now. 1487, a man called Bartholomew Diaz got to what they call the Cape of Good Hope. And 1498, Vasco da Gama went around South Africa and landed at Natal on Christmas Day, 1498. That's why they call Natal, Natalis, being born. Now, these Europeans initially were really pushed by genuine reasons, by good reasons. They wanted to go to the East to avoid the Muslims who had blocked them, to get products which they needed for their lives. But now, a new problem came in. They became greedy, became greedy. Instead of looking how to solve their problems, they now wanted to control the people they were coming across. And they started taking slaves. So the slave trade started from that time, from about 1472, and it went on for almost 300 years, up to 1822, when William Wilberforce started a movement in England to fight, to stop it. So, in that process of the Europeans being greedy, they started doing really things which are not properly thought out. Just looking for money, shortcut, money. You can imagine slave trade. That was one of the ways they were going to make money. But then there was another problem. The problem of internal weaknesses among ourselves, especially at that time by the tribal chiefs. Tribal chiefs, instead of defending us, they were busy fighting one another. And that's how, by 1900, Africa having gone through slave trade of almost 400 years, the whole of Africa is colonized. Combination of external greed and internal weaknesses. Now, the greedy foreigners, because of looking for quick ways of how to make money, not looking for solutions, they kept coming up with all sorts of things. Some of them good, some of them not properly thought out. You come to the question of, but before I come to that, when they came here, the Europeans, they created another local group of people who who were believing in whatever they were being told. Do this, they do it. Do that, they do that. These were like the soldiers, like the Idi Amin type, the clerks who were working with the Europeans, and some of the business groups which came up, these commission agents who import things from others and sell here. So that was also another problem. So you get the foreigners, greedy, you get the original group, the chiefs who did not mobilize us and were busy fighting one another. Then you get another group of internal collaborators. So when these people come with their greed, Africa had very many good things which had been proven by time that they can work and they are safe. You want to dry millet, use the sun. The sun was the energy. Because if you use the word energy in English, our people may not get it very well. They may think energy is the other day in Solota I said, you translate energy. Somebody said strength, amani. It's not amani. Energy in this case means things you use to help you. I don't know how you will translate it. You will have to look for how to translate it. Naye was even atuyamba okukola ku mirimu egimu. Energy, because energy now you are talking of, you want to dry millet, use the sun. Combining the sun and the wind, because the wind also dries. You want to winnow, to remove husks from millet, use wind. But Banyankore women ukwera, they do like this, and then the wind blows away the husks. umweziga. You want to cook, you use firewood. That is all together called energy in English now. We must get a word which we can translate so that our people can understand it. Because when you say energy, for them, our people say amanyi. Because I had somebody trying in Latin to say aigong. I said, no, aigong is for wrestling. It doesn't answer the issue. So, for us, for centuries, we are using sun to dry, wind to blow things, fire to cook, to roast, pressure to okura, when you are, the Baganda I think call it okuba, but the Banyangwara have got a better word, okura. When you heat millet and you separate it. So we are using that science, which was safe and proven that it has no danger. Now these people come, they say, no, there is a new source of energy. It is called petroleum. It is from the soil. Initially, we in Ntungamo were suspicious about petrol. I had my aunt in the 1940s and 1950s. When she would go to Ntungamo, to the trading center, she would come back holding her nose that the vehicles have Okunyampa. Okunyampa is when the gas coming out of the southern part of the body. I don't know what they call it in Uganda, but in Nyankole it means. So my aunt, she was older than me. She was a teenager. The gas of the cars have upset my stomach that she cannot eat because she has smelled the, and we thought it was, and then she would go and see we had that small group of Indians. For us, we the Banyankore don't eat fried food. We just boil the food. You boil it. You can add some ghee, but we never fry. They do frying oksika. It's not part of our culture. So my aunt will come back, that she has seen people at Ntungamo Trading Center eating Eviroro are the brown film which you see in the swamp. The swamp, I think it is some form of iron, some suspension on top of the water, of the swamp water. I have seen people eating that swamp suspension. And so on. Rice, I will not tell you what she told me about rice, because you may kill me. Because we are not eating rice. but no, we are told no. This is modernity. Forget about your drying, the way you are drying, forget about the other one. Now this is the modern thing. Now, the people who are pushing this, we are pushing it without fully understanding the science of petrol. Now, after almost 100 years, something, of using petroleum, it has turned out to be a big poison. When you use petroleum in cars, it increases the amount of carbon dioxide in the air, and the whole world, the carbon dioxide is like a blanket, does not allow heat to escape into beyond the atmosphere, and therefore you endanger the climate of the globe. So after 100 years of using this material, the whole world is now saying, we are dying. So recently, there was a conference in Scotland. I didn't go, but Dr. Gunda went there, and they said petroleum must not be used in cars after 20 years. So that's how now the companies which have been looking for petroleum stopped. They are no longer looking for the petroleum. They are no longer looking for new petroleum. So the small amount of petroleum which is already known, the price has now gone up. Even before the war in Ukraine, it had gone from I think it was $60, it had gone to $80. With the war in Ukraine, it went to now 100. So that's the issue of petroleum. Now, why the prices are up? The prices are that petroleum, again, it will no longer be used in vehicles. Some of these people can talk more about it if they know more about it. Later, I will ask them. So that means, so the world is now saying you must go to the African energy, the one they abandoned, the one they told us to abandon. We must go back to the African energy, which is what? Solar, wind, of course there is some hydro. Hydro was added. Was added. Of course, the Africans were also using hydro not to produce electricity, but to do work, to wash, to things, to clear. They were using water for that. So the world is now going away from petroleum for cars to solar, wind, nuclear, and hydro. That's the problem of petrol. Why it has gone up now? So you should all know it. Don't get worried that Uganda had just found petroleum. Now it has lost at ADBA. It has now lost value. No. First of all, these 20 years, where we can get we can harvest like the others are harvesting, because it takes time to migrate, to go from petrol to the other forms of energy.